Yeah, thank you, William. And thanks to Ben for giving us the opportunity to stay 10 minutes for a session, which is much, much harder to prepare a 10-minute session compared to a 60-minute session, because you have to squeeze the content. And today I would like to talk about data integration for the masses, if it's possible, if there is a tool that could handle that one. And I named my session Power to the Query, because there is some hint about the technology I would like to talk about. My name is Wolfgang. I live and work in Austria. I like to work with data, and I think that's it for the introduction, and let's move on. As I said, data integration today, it's the topic of today. Data preparation, it's a technology, it's a process that has been done in the past for many, many years, and many, many projects require doing data integration. And data integration, well, we often hear it's hard, but why is it hard? You have to know the data sources, you have to connect to the data sources, you have to know the technology to do the data integration. Yeah, experience is a plus, and there are many, many tools. If you search for data integration, there are thousands, not even millions of results there, and everybody thinks he and she knows what data integration is, but some say data integration is for experts only. I don't want to touch that part because it looks like horrible if you see some data integration examples like that SSIS package. Well, that is a quite horrible example, but some say it's for experts only. And is it a way, or is it an option to get data integration for the masses? To put data integration out of the expert scope more into the citizen data integration part, like giving more power to the real people that are working in the companies and not only the IT nerds and technical experts, and get into a field of self-service data integration. So everybody should be able to do data integration. And is there a way of giving, or is there a tool that can handle that? There are many questions that should be solved. Like, as I said, we have to connect to data sources. We have to know the data sources. We have to know the technology. Oh my God, I have to program. And the question is it Yadi? And the answer is Yadi tool, yet another data integration tool. And there's one I would like to present today. It's a thing and a technology that is older, and it's not that kind of new kid on the block. It's well known in the technology, and the tool is, or the technology is called Power Query. And I've taken that screenshot from the documentation, and Microsoft has defined 3 pillars. Connect to hundreds of data sources, so multiple connectors, powerful data integration or data preparation, smart data integration, I will come back to that one, and no coding required. And let's start with the connectors. The connectors are the thing you really need to get in touch with your data source. So if you have a connector for a system, well, it makes it easier to connect to your system. And in the Power Query context, those connectors, they try to build bridges between you and the data you need. And there are hundreds of different database systems. There are files, file-based systems, analysis services, blob storage, Azure database services, folders, Excel files, CSV files, XML files, SharePoint Online. All those different systems, you would like to get data out, and you would like people to really use the data that is stored somewhere. If it's in Databricks, if it's stored in a data lake, if it's stored wherever and in whatever format, Power Query has some connector for you. And if it doesn't have a built-in connector, it's up to you to program one. But let's start with the no-code approach. The low-code, no-code approach is one of those pillars in the Power Platform to really give people the power to build cool stuff without really knowing of how to program that stuff. And in Power Query, everything starts with the connect to your data source. So select the data source you want to connect to, and then we are in the Power Query editor. And in the Power Query editor, it's the right-click context menu and the menu entries where you can start your data integration and data preparation. Just for example, fill down all the values here, and Power Query does the magic for you. So no real coding required. And there are many, many different options and tasks you can use. You can even write your own R script or Python script, but in the majority, just use the user interface and code your data preparation. So the question is, for those that know Power BI, is it the clicky, drag it, drop it for data integration? Well, it looks like a macro recorder. Maybe you've heard about those Excel macros, but in the background, there's source code involved. It's the M language that the Power Query editor generates in the background. So for the user, for the majority of users, it's just the simple right click and you start the process. In the background, there is source code involved. Smart data preparation. That sounds like a marketing slogan. Let's see if it's really smart data preparation and how Power Query can help you to get better in data preparation. What you see here is one of those examples of smart data preparation. It's called column by example. What you can achieve is you just type in a value, and Power Query tries to find the source of that value and wants to convert the data in the shape. So I'm giving two examples, and Power Query says I can extract that one, and you can even do some formatting changes and so on and so forth. And what you see in the formula bar over here, it's the M code that is generated by the column by example. And now, where can I find Power Query? Is it free? Is it available? Where? How can I get into the Power Query thing? Well, it's integrated. It's integrated into Power BI. There's the get data approach. It's integrated in Excel. It's integrated even in Power Automate or analysis services. And it's even integrated in a technology we saw at one of our first slides in integration services. So Power Query is the main technology, and it's integrated in the Power BI desktop, transform data. In Excel, get data, and you can start your Power Query transformation. Even in analysis services, tabular, get data, do the data preparation using Power Query. And there is a web version which is called Power Query Online, which is available for Power Apps, and you can load data into Dataverse. And it's also available for Power BI data flows, data preparation in the cloud. And there are features that are available in the desktop version and in the web version. And even for those older folks, we have Power Query integrated in integration services. So there's a Power Query source where we can just enter the M code, and we can reuse the M code because the integration services Power Query source doesn't have a built-in Power Query designer. So it's taking the M source. And what we can do is we can copy that is Power Query editor in Power BI desktop, and we can paste it into the web-based environment. And what we have to enter here are the connection details, but it's reusability. So it's the same engine or almost the same engine that is running in the background. So reusability is a thing to really go on that journey. So the question was data integration for the masses. Is it possible? And I think it is possible using Power Query for data integration for the masses. It's integrated, well integrated in different tools. Excel, just hit the Get Data button. If you are working with Power BI, well, you have it there. Analysis services, if you are building flows in Power Automate, Power Query is there. So there is no excuse even for SSIS developers to use Power Query. So with that, I'm at the end of my session. 10 minutes, it's quite challenging. If you want to learn more about Power Query, I've added some links. I will upload the slide afterwards. If you have additional questions about Power Query or other data related stuff, my contact details are on that slide. And with that, back to the broadcasting studio, back to William.